Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. We now bring you some of the pictures you sent to our Eyewitness portal. First is this one from Bayelsa State, showing a group of people walking on the streets. Our Eyewitness reporter says that these are INEC officials and agents heading to the government secondary school in Amasoma for collation of results. Then this one from Ilorin, Kwara State, showing a dilapidated building. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is the present state of a divisional police barracks in the state. He wants the government to look into this. Next is this one from Ondo town in Ondo State, showing people having a party under a canopy on the road. Our Eyewitness reporter is asking residents to desist from this common act to avoid its attendant traffic jam within the state. Finally, is this one from Omole Phase 1 in Lagos State, showing an accident. Our Eyewitness reporter is urging road users to be more courteous. Well, thank you for sending those pictures. Please do keep them coming. We also urge those in Bayelsa State especially to send us pictures from the outcome of today's elections. Youth in Eket Senatorial District of Akwa Ibom State have come out to support the developmental strides of the state governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, after just 7 months in office. The youth gathered at Eket local government area today at a mega rally asking the governor not to be distracted by the appeal court ruling calling for fresh elections in the state. The governor on his part is thankful for the warm reception from his kinsmen and promised not to disappoint them.
One may mistake it for a political rally, but the people of Eket Senatorial District, mainly youths, are here to say thank you to one of their own and Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel. One after another, they file out to say why they have put together such a grand reception.
We stand firm and say that we lay the golden eggs and we deserve the right to sit in the hilltop mansion as the governor of Akwa Ibom State. We are the workaholic people of Akwa Ibom State. We have the capacity, we have the knowledge. Right now, you can see what our son is doing. He's doing the right thing at the right time for the people of Akwa Ibom State.
His Excellency has placed premium on youth development and women development. And we pledge, on behalf of the House of Assembly, we pledge to make adequate budgetary allocation for youth and women empowerment.
That mandate that the entirety of Akwa Ibom State gave to PDP, I keep saying is sacrosanct. Nothing tampers with it. And that's why we are here.
Between 7 months now, you can see his steps. Very proactive, very pragmatic, very impressive step of developments. And I think it should be allowed to be there. Nobody can reverse what has been planted.
Uyo had their turn, Eket supported. Ikonek Bene had their turn, Eket supported. All we are saying, Uyo and Ikonek Bene, stay with our governor. Let him do his 8 years as we had done for Uyo and Ikonek Bene. On this we stand. On this we stand. On this we stand. On this we stand.
For the governor, such support is overwhelming and only gives him courage to do more for the state regardless of happenings on the political scene.
The divine mandate is here to stay. And with what you have shown me today, it is clear that our people are determined to keep this mandate. And on my part, I promise to remain your servant leader and the keeper of that mandate.
With this rally, the people of Eket Senatorial District hope to prove that they deserve to keep the #1 position in the state, at least after the 2 other senatorial districts have done same in recent past.
As the fight to rid the country of corruption intensifies, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has advised the government to be prepared for counterattacks. Professor Soyinka, who spoke in Lagos, said this is the first time the fight against corruption is heightened and should not be treated with kid gloves. He expressed worry at how the funds meant for the purchase of military equipment to fight Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast was diverted without consideration for the helpless victims and the soldiers at the forefront of the battle.
It's going to be a hard one. It's already started. There's no question whatsoever that we are not where we were before this new administration took over. But you all have to be very careful. You all have to be very, very careful. I've used this expression again and again and again. Corruption fights back. Corruption fights back. And the hardest fighters, the hardiest fighters are those who are already within the cesspit of corruption. So let's watch. The fight is on two levels. One, directly against corruption, and then you've got to prepare for the counter-attack. That's where we are at the moment. We haven't had corruption being exposed on this scale before. We haven't had a situation where it is being alleged and increasingly proved that money is supposed to be spent on defending ourselves, our nation, our neighborhood has been shared. I haven't had such expose, within the military conduct. We haven't had it before. So, and of course, because of that very reason, corruption has chosen to fight back. And so when people fight back, I like that. Because when they fight back, they energize you and you get ready for them.
Members of the Bring Back Our Girls group say they are to stage a walk in honor of the nation's fallen heroes ahead of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Briefing journalists at its sit-out session in Abuja, members of the group also appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to grant presidential pardon to soldiers who have been sentenced to death. They are also calling for a special honor conferred on soldiers fighting the insurgents.
For over 600 days, these Nigerians have continued to appeal to the government and the military authorities to help rescue over 109 girls abducted from their schools in Chibok by members of the Boko Haram sect.
When shall we stop?
But this time, they are full of praises for security agencies who have been at the forefront in the war against terrorism.
Say no to Shekau.
They say they plan to take a walk through the streets of the nation's capital to raise the morale of soldiers fighting insurgents, as well as seek pardon for those who face various levels of discipline by the military.
We have written to the President and CNC asking him to exercise his prerogative of mercy in granting a presidential pardon to all soldiers who were wrongfully convicted and sentenced, even if their sanctions were only recently reduced. It will be gross miscarriage of justice for any of those who, from recent revelations, were not at all equipped with arms to fight the terrorists to be sentenced to jail, no matter how short the period.
Goodwill messages for the Nigerian soldiers still pour in from members of the group, this time for their courage and doggedness.
Where we got to, we were meeting, we saw a lot of military presence, their vehicles, they checked and everything. And for me, not just because it is Amatan, the fact that individuals like that they wear uniform does not make them superhumans. They are still human beings and they could still risk their lives.
That's not all. Members of the group also ask that all outstanding salaries of the soldiers and all fallen heroes be paid.
We ask that the delays and the onerous processes that throw bereaved families into more sorrow should cease forthwith. We dare to posit that it is callous to owe salaries of soldiers at the battlefront because nothing can be more demotivating. We therefore call on the military authorities to expedite actions in paying up the full arrears of such salaries and to design a better system for promptness going forward.
January the 15th is dedicated to honor military personnel in the country with a renewed commitment from members of the Bring Back Our Girls group, government and the international community. It is hoped that the gesture will go a long way in defeating the insurgents.
The Niger State government has advised residents not to panic over the reported outbreak of suspected Lassa fever in the state. The Commissioner for Health and Health Services, Dr. Mustafa Jibril, in a statement explains that the state government is doing all it can to contain the situation. He adds that the state government is awaiting the result of the test and blood samples of those suspected to have been infected by the disease from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control in Abuja and Lagos. Dr. Jibril reiterates that his ministry has strengthened monitoring and surveillance on the affected communities in Foka ward of Muyan local government area of the state. He then calls on members of the public to come up with information on any suspected disease or death in the nearest health facilities in the state. Lassa fever cases have been recorded in 10 states in Nigeria since late November 2015 with 40 fatalities. But the rhetorical question to you is, how much do you know about this virus that was first identified in the town of Lassa in Borno State in 1969? Our correspondent Yomi Otaibe highlights some of the information you need to know.
Lassa fever is an acute hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus, which naturally occurs in multi-mammoth rats. The rats do not become ill, but they can shed the virus in the environments they find themselves.
When the rodents get in touch with human food items like the grains, and it excretes there, and some of these, when they even dry up, through inhalation, a man can get this virus, or by ingestion of these contaminated food items. Another way is human-to-human transmission. Somebody who has already contracted it can still transmit it to other people because it is in the blood secretions.
After an incubation period of 6 to 21 days, the onset of the disease, when it is symptomatic, is usually gradual, starting with fever, general weakness and malaise. After a few days, headache, sore throat, muscle pain, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, cough and abdominal pain may follow. In severe cases, facial swelling, fluid in the lung cavity, bleeding from the mouth, nose or gastrointestinal tract and low blood pressure may develop.
About 20% of people who have Lassa fever become symptomatic. And then out of this 20%, you still have maybe 80% of them may die from the disease. That is among those who manifest the symptoms, who become symptomatic. So it therefore means that not be everybody that is in contact with this viral agent that it will eventually come down with the disease. Immune status of the person will also play a significant role.
Cases of Lassa fever have been recorded at different times in different states in Nigeria since the disease was first discovered in 1969. But how much do the people know about this virus?
Lassa fever, not so much. I know it's a sickness, but I don't have much details about it.
It's a viral disease that is being transmitted from what they call rats.
Lassa fever. I've heard about it, but I don't really know much about it.
A mixed bag of knowledge on a virus that is said to be endemic in some parts of West Africa. It's instructive to know that there is currently no vaccine to protect against Lassa fever, so prevention of the disease relies on promoting good community hygiene.
People living close to bush areas should clear the bush around them. If you have rodents coming to the house, put traps. Talking about simple measures now. Don't put your food stuff raw or cooked in places where rats can get in contact with it. Personal hygiene practices. We can't remove the place of hand washing, and a lot of hand washing does a lot, and food hygiene. Then talking about what health workers can do. Any case that you see, everybody should be on the suspicious alert right now. If you see a case, even if it's mimicking malaria, let's still do our infection prevention control.
You may want to note this red flag and what to do in case of any suspicion.
If you have a high fever that wouldn't subside with your routine drugs for simple illnesses, report to the hospital. At the hospital, have a high index of suspicion. Let the surveillance continue. Contact tracing.
If you have any information or concern over Lassa fever, do call the Federal Ministry of Health on these numbers. Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
When the News at 10 returns, more on the Lassa fever outbreak, as we'll be speaking with Dr. Mary Stevin, the Acting Director on Disease Prevention and Control of the World Health Organization. She'll be joining us from Abuja. And the new helmsman at the Niger Delta Development Commission, Ibim Seminatari, inspects some of the Commission's ongoing projects. To join us again.
The status of the project, the NDDC